Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
That's all I
I'll
got.
answer for you too. I'll answer for everybody.
Yes,
It's
sisters
fine.
at the dais. Okay, if we could all rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So this evening, we do have a public hearing for the 2026 tax budget. And there's no presentation before this or anything? Yes. Oh, okay. I apologize. Good evening. Sorry, Tammy.
It's okay. So the 2026 preliminary tax budget has been prepared in accordance with ORC Section 570529. It serves as a financial planning tool to determine the funding required to support governmental operations in the upcoming calendar year. It includes more detailed revenue and expenditure estimates for the general fund, along with the summary information for all other funds. Revenues are projected to remain stable between 2025 and 2026, while expenditures are anticipated to rise by approximately 18%, largely driven by several planned capital improvement projects to be funded with TIF dollars. The tax budget has been available for review, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
So I will open the public hearing for the 2026 tax budget. Yeah, does anyone want to come forward or? No? Okay, then I will close the public hearing.
Is this online? Can
Yeah,
people
I-
see the? Like, it is online.
It is on our
It
website
is
under the
posted
fiscal.
on the
Yeah.
website, so if people want to go in and look at it, they can go in and look at
It's
it.
available.
Yes,
Mhm.
and is the case each year. The budget will not be finalized until early next year. It has to be finalized by the end of March. So
Yes.
this is the preliminary, and then it will be, we'll make adjustments. That gives us a little bit of time to make adjustments for things like fuel costs and other items that may change between now and early next year. So I often get the question, why is the budget that you're going to start using on January 1st not finalized until March? But if you want to explain that a little bit as far as the law.
Right. Well, you have to have a temporary budget in place in order to start spending money. So we have to pass the temporary in December, so we have it in place January 1st. And then we finalize it in the first 3 months of the year when we have a better idea of what we're going to be spending.
And I'm sitting here looking at the screen and trying to scroll. I was looking to see where it was on this website, but it is under the fiscal office portion.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then we do have I think, a resolution.
Yes.
I move to adopt a resolution approving and adopting the 26 tax budget and authorizing its filing with the Hamilton County Budget Commission.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we will move to public forum. Individuals who wish to address the board should state their name and address for the record, make their points as clearly and concisely as possible, and limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes, which may not be shared with or yielded to others. All comments shall be directed to the Board of Township Trustees. Thank you in advance for your comments. So if you have a public comment, you can come on up. No, if you have a comment, you can just come on up and speak.
Good evening.
Good
Hello.
evening.
My name is Bill Cochran. I live at 1466 Apple Farm Lane. I've been a resident of Anderson Township, I guess, for over 40 years. I would like to address why the township allows packs of bullet bikes to infiltrate our township. They are breaking the law by speeding. They are a noise nuisance, and most importantly, a danger to our resident drivers. My main reason for addressing this is to make this issue public. Make this issue public is to get it inserted in the minutes. I believe someone is going to get seriously injured by pulling out of a side street, a driveway, which could result in township liability. And I'd hate to see that happen and raise our taxes. I hope the Sheriff's Department and the trustees will forum and resolve this issue, and appreciate your time for listening. They infiltrate up from Kellogg. They go down Bernie. I have a garden plot over at Turpin High School. They're over on Bartles. They run Clough, and we're allowing it to happen. It doesn't happen in other townships or other city municipalities around Cincinnati. And, you know, I hate to come with a concern and not a solution. Put somebody up at COVID Gardens, Mio's, around 6:30 to 8:30, and catch these guys. Write some tickets and tell them we're going after them, and do not come back to Anderson Township. It's a major league problem. It doesn't happen every night. There were 14 of them that came up Tuesday night, up Kellogg, up Salem. My wife was having book club. It shook our house, shook the entire neighborhood. It's out of control again. It settled down. I've talked to the District 5. It did get better, but this past spring, it's gotten really bad. And somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to pull off Apple Hill, our driveway, and they're going to get clobbered. And by putting it in the minutes and making it public, I just want to get that done, because I've made some calls before. Vicki, I think I've talked to you. And it's a nuisance, and it needs to be stopped. I appreciate your time, and hope you guys will do something about it, because it is a danger to our residents. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Cochran, for your
Thank
comments.
you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Hi, Mr. Bruno.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Murno, the 2156 Heather Hill Boulevard. Many of you know me as a member of the Tree Committee, and I've also just joined the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Committee too, to help with the Environment Recycling Committee. So I'm also a board member of Green Umbrella, which is why I'm here tonight to talk to you about tonight at Anderson Township to consider being a member of Green Umbrella. Green Umbrella is the largest regional climate collaborative in the country. It's nationally recognized for its excellence. There's over 260 members, including Hamilton County and 36 other government entities. Green Umbrella just hosted the 12th annual Midwest Regional Sustainability Summit, and over 600 people attended that. Green Umbrella operates very much like Anderson Township, very, very lean and mean and efficient, gets its work done with only about 14 dedicated employees, so it's not very bureaucratic. But given that Anderson Township is the third largest township in Hamilton County and not a member, I think that's something we probably should try to correct. All of our residents greatly benefit from the work that Green Umbrella does, in our borders and beyond our borders. I know that Josh is president of OKI, and Green Umbrella works very closely with OKI, and I'm told that the OKI staff members, Mark Kalinsky, Bob Kohler, Margaret Minzer, Travis Miller, and Andy Meyer, all work closely with Green Umbrella. So you can go ahead and accuse me of being a name dropper, but Green Umbrella is working with OKI to develop a Thrive community, Thrive Together, a sustainability playbook for Greater Cincinnati as part of the U.S. EPA's Climate Pollution Reduction Program. I have a nice long government name. And that's one EPA grant that's not been canceled. So again, so Anderson Township will, I think, benefit from that regional work. Pollution knows no boundaries is one of my little mottos. Green Umbrella has over 6 programs. I can't cover them all. They do have a Green Space Alliance that may be of particular value to us with the upcoming retirement of Suzanne Klingman and the loss of her 24 years of experience. It also has a program called the 2030 District for focuses on commercial buildings, provide seminars including tools to measure and reduce energy and water usage, thus saving the building owners some money. Most importantly, Green Umbrella is embarking on a new program called the 25 Communities Project, which will seek to bring 25 new communities into Green Umbrella and let them use their tools and resources they developed over the last 26 years. Some of these cities include Covington, Cincinnati, Fairfield, Hamilton County, Milford, Newport, and Oxford. The 25 Communities Project will kick off on July 22nd and run through August of 2026. So there is a meeting on July 22nd that I would encourage maybe a representative from Anderson Township to be able to attend. It's just an introductory, free meeting and so forth. So I'm sure you're going to ask me, since you're talking budget tonight, what this might cost. I realize I'm out of time here, but the membership fee is based on the population, and for Anderson Township, it would only be $2,400 a year. I calculate that as about 5 cents a day per resident. So I think it's a very good value, and we benefit a lot from it. We are benefiting a lot not for it now. We're really not contributing to supporting it. So I have a little handout here to give some people.
Thank you.
And be glad to answer questions, or if you want to appoint some poor soul that has to follow up with me.
We have. Her name's Vicki Earhart.
Okay. I appreciate your time.
No,
Thanks,
thank
Bruce.
you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Bruce.
you. Thanks, Mr. Bruno.
I thought we were a member.
I-
I actually thought we were a member,
Yeah.
so thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, we appreciate you bringing this to our attention.
Thank you.
Because I'm a fan of Grand Umbrella.
Can we
I've been
add
following
it
their
to our
work for.
next,
Well, well,
agenda?
Tri-State Trails used to be part of that. Now
Yes,
they're
yes,
separated out.
yes.
And we were real involved in that piece because of all our trails.
Yes.
So, anyway.
I will say too,
Dee's
if
gonna
I
pay.
could just address
Yeah,
it
yeah.
real quickly, is that, I will say too, if I
Come on,
just address it real quickly, is Green Umbrella's changed a little bit. They used to charge a fee for different programs they put on if you participate in the program. Now they're going more to a membership model where
Yeah.
you pay a membership fee and you can participate in all the programs. So that's why you may not have been a member before, but you participate in some programs.
Right, that makes
Okay.
and
sense.
so forth.
Maybe that's
And
it.
Josh, I don't know what your experience is with OKI and Green Umbrella, but
Oh, yeah, I'm well aware.
they funnel a lot of money around.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much
thanks
for
for
bringing it to our
bringing it up.
attention and for coming to public comment. Before I close, anyone else for public comment? Okay, so I will close the public comment and appreciate you both coming to speak. So now we'll move into trustee comments. I'll start with you, Dee.
It's hot. It's hot out there. And nothing really. Happy 4th of July. Oh, everybody come to the 4th of July parade. I'm a judge. Keep that in mind. Keep it appropriate. Anyway, I know,
Keep it appropriate.
you never know. Steve Severs worked very hard on that and our staff, so it's gonna be a great event, as it always is. So just hope everyone has a good 4th of July and will come out and enjoy the parade.
It's Steve's favorite day of the year, I think.
It's so much fun, so well done. It's always, I get a little moved every time I see the whole community out there lining the street, cheering. So yeah, it's a great time, and we do appreciate all the hard work, Steve. We know you put into, and it's the whole parade. He's down on the street, wrangling everybody, helping everybody. So yes. Sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have something?
No, I don't. Actually, I'd like to yield my time to Miss Earhart or Lieutenant. Do you guys want to respond to Mr. Cochran?
Yeah.
Yes, I know that Lieutenant Downing has pulled together some data regarding the incidents down on Salem. If you want to come up and
Well, and
provide that.
I didn't know it was happening in Anderson Township. I have a friend that lives, I didn't. I haven't heard it, I haven't seen it. I totally believe you. Because I know it's happening down on Kellogg in the city. Because I talked to a friend of mine, and he was almost ready to sell he's in a condo down there by the river, to sell his place because it's so bad at 2 in the morning.
The dangerous spot is
It-
Yeah.
Nick, if-
pull out of there.
Okay.
I don't know if I know.
Yeah, no, but
It-
that, so we'll listen to what's going on, but
And-
I mean, I appreciate you bringing it up, because I really,
And Mrs. Stone, I think one of the issues that we run into is these are public roads.
yeah.
And those bikes are not prohibited.
I was going to ask, are they
yes,
street legal?
Yes.
Okay.
And Lieutenant Downing has some more information.
So to intentionally target any citizen for traveling in groups, regardless of size, would be a violation of the Constitution. I wanted to put that out there right off the bat. Like, we can't sit and intentionally target a particular group of riders because they're exhaust, if they're legal exhaust, which most of them are, they are loud. But so I just mostly go off of the data anytime I end up with a citizen concern, because my intention running the district is send our resources and send our effort where the greatest risk of public safety is. Nothing tells us where the greatest risk of public safety is better than recorded data. So I pulled everything I could for Salem Road in response to Ms. Earhart's bringing this to my attention. So in the past 4 years, there have been 233 vehicles involved in 134 auto accidents on Salem Road. 3 of those vehicles were motorcycles. 1 motorcycle was found at fault for a single vehicle accident, which was alcohol related. Intoxicated driver traveling north on Salem, or rather east on Salem. The other 2 were helmeted riders that were traveling straight, and a vehicle turned left and collided with them. The majority of the auto accidents were rear-end collisions or failure to yield. Officers, there is speeding that happens sometimes down on the lower end, and we do address that as best we can. I know over the past, let's see, we started recording that in 2022. Deputies have made 341 traffic stops on or intersecting with Salem Road. That's resulted in 1 report, 2 arrests, 105 unspecified clearances, which are usually warnings, 69 citations, and 164 warnings. So of the crashes, the highest recorded speed we had was 40 miles an hour. We had 173 did not have a recorded speed that we could determine from the crash report, but 48 were either stopped or traveling below 26 mile an hour. 11 were traveling 30 to 35 miles an hour, and like I said, 1 was going 40. So, I mean, we have officers out there. I've proven that by the number of stops we're making on Salem. You know, and there's not something we can legally do to prevent people from riding in groups. This is kind of a, you know, a subject of quality of life, and I respect that, and we try to address that as best we can, but we have to do it within the confines of the law. And as responsible for a township of this size, I can't conscientiously direct law enforcement, public safety resources for quality of life or an annoyance issue. And I understand there's always risk, especially involving motorcycle riders. It's a dangerous hobby. I ride a lot myself, and so there is a public safety risk, which I believe our response and our operations currently are in direct, reasonable proportion with the risk to public safety. I feel like as long as we continue doing what we're doing, we can't prohibit citizens from traveling on public roads. We can't prohibit citizens from traveling on public roads in groups. But we will continue to be present in the area, monitor traffic laws and equipment violations of that nature. But that's pretty much our response to it at this point, and I will answer questions if you have any.
Yeah, if I may add, when this was brought to my attention back in 2020 and 2021, before Lieutenant Downing was our District 5 commander, I worked with the previous District 5 commander. We also had our community resource officer that did a number of patrols in that area, set up radar, tried to track speeding, other issues that were reported. And there was no evidence. I don't think there was any, to my recollection, there were any tickets issued. There wasn't speeding. I realize these bikes have a louder, high-pitched whine, but it is, as I said, and as Lieutenant Downing said, they're allowed to travel on the public roads. trying to target a group because there may be 16 or 17 bikes. It doesn't matter if they're bullet bikes, if they're Harleys, if they're vehicles traveling on I-275 in a coordinated effort. They have the legal right to drive on those public roads. Speeding is, something that the sheriff's office can address when and if it occurs. But beyond that, we cannot regulate how people drive on our roads or the type of vehicles unless it is a vehicle that is not permitted on a roadway, that's a farm tractor, say, or something along those lines. Otherwise, we are limited in what we can do.
Well, yeah, and to that point, there's two issues here. It's the speeding, which is we would have to handle the way we would any other speeding motor vehicle, since these are street legal, and the sound, and given the hours and how fleeting the sound is, it is to your point, an annoyance, and in that way it's disruptive, but it's not a lasting sound that could be investigated there at the site. So I appreciate the clarification. I had to look on YouTube to see what a bullet bike, I had never heard of that. And yeah, they are loud, because there's another little, like, I don't know what they're called, tinier bikes than that are not for the roadways that I actually first thought this was about.
Right.
Well, I do a lot of driving, and I have seen them, and I've seen them certainly in other townships. I've seen them in the city where I work. Is there any, there's no noise, like, and by the way, same thing with some of the cars. I mean,
Yeah.
cars who have these really loud exhausts. Is there any?
The Ohio Revised Code has a section relating to faulty mufflers, which is mufflers with holes in them, mufflers that have been removed. However, a lot of these are either stock loud or custom, but there is a muffler on there that works. Some townships have
law against just having
correct.
Really
There's
loud
as far as a
mufflers.
decimal meter. Some townships have enacted certain noise resolutions, but there again, I know there was one in a township I worked regarding a racetrack where they use it. But there again, we're talking about an object where we have a known entity that we can address for concerns.
Right.
To sit and run a decimal meter along a public road would be a very, very challenging, and then you're dealing with one person out of an entire population of riders. It's a very,
right.
It would probably be a poor choice of resources to dedicate for the return you would get on that.
And I told Lieutenant Downing, I mean, they drive past my house as well. I hear it. It's a matter of seconds. And, while it is a high-pitched, loud sound, you get the same level of sound from somebody riding a Harley that's sitting there at a stoplight that's revving their engine. It's just a different level of, you've got the higher pitch versus the deep rumble. And I don't know that there would be any way to target specifically whether or not it's a high-pitched sound versus a deep rumble.
Without using just decibels.
Correct.
It would be, yeah.
Correct.
I would never argue that it's not annoying, but my main focus has to be public safety.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm focused.
Correct.
So.
Yeah.
But it is annoying.
Trust me, I live on 8 Mile. I hear this
it
all
is.
the time.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's legally nothing we can do about it. Okay?
More than what we're doing. I mean,
Right. Then
we're
look at
trying to watch
addressing
for
this
Right.
speeding.
violators.
Yeah.
Correct.
Speeding, we can do something about.
Sure.
Right.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
And we have
Yes,
been.
sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And thank you for bringing this up again, Mr. Cochran. Okay. Any other trustee comments? No. Moving over to Brian, our fiscal officer.
Okay, you have the May financials in your packet, and I'll tell you that we have a go live date for the new accounting system. So in the next May, September, we should be using both systems. We'll be testing them. We'll be using the existing one, so you'll probably still see some old reports for a while, but then we'll be running them simultaneously to make sure that everything's balancing and we're reporting it correctly. So on the revenue side, on the revenue side, we have homestead and rollback and interest those are our big items for the month. So nothing really big until we start getting the second half settlements. And on the expenditure side, last month, you'll remember I mentioned that we had just made the payments to the schools for the TIF. So those are reflected in the May financials, and they represent about 80% of what our expenditures were for the month. So that our expenditures really spike for those payments. We do have two then and nows in item B that where the invoice preceded the purchase order. That's in your pack, the paper packet that was added
So that's this 6B?
Yes.
Okay. I move to adopt a resolution authorizing payment.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
Okay.
And then item C, we have an appropriation adjustment. So this was not included in the final appropriations. There's a project for Town Center Way that we need to appropriate for.
I move to adopt the appropriation as presented by Fiscal Officer Johnson.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
And then I have item D, we have 5 sets of minutes.
Okay, I move to adopt the minutes from March 11th, 2025.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Abstain.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
Okay, and then I move to adopt the minutes from March 20th, 2025, April 3rd, 2025, April 17th, 2025, and May 1st, 2025.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Moving over to our law director, anything for tonight, Margaret?
No report.
Thank you. Did you have anything else this evening, Tammy? Thank you. Planning and zoning, Sarah.
Good evening.
Good
So
evening.
before you tonight, I have a resolution determining the existence of nuisance of a property at the address of 6664 Foster Avenue. These photos that are before you, I also have handouts of if you want to see it. This is taken of the rear yard from a property on Nitram. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
I'd move to adopt a resolution determining existence of nuisance on land owned by Nathan J. Allen located at 6664 Foster Avenue in Anderson Township and providing for notice and remediation pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Anything for fire and rescue? Thank you, Chief. Anything else, Lieutenant Downing? Thank you. Anything from Public Works? Thank you, Eric. Okay, now turning it over to our Township Administrator, Vicki Earhart.
Yes, thank you. And we're, folks in administration are going to be bouncing back and forth on this portion of the agenda. So the first item is request to award a bid for the Leaf Sculpture Foundation. As the board will recall, this is one of our first major pieces of artwork that the board commissioned. It was originally intended to be placed down Log Kellogg in the landscape plan until ODOT revoked prior permission that they had given to us, and then they said we couldn't. So the leaf sculpture is going to be located at the Anderson Town Center in the circle right outside of the theater, which will allow our residents to enjoy that. It will provide artwork in the center of the community. And what we need tonight is authorization for that foundation. Part of the cost, a large portion of the cost, was credited to us because we did not perform the work down at Kellogg when we got the stop from ODOT. So we did accept bids, and the motion to award the bid to Perkins Carmack is attached for your consideration.
Okay, I move that this board hereby accepts the bid of $158,000 from Perkins Carmack Construction LLC, deemed to be the best and lowest and/or most responsive bidder for the Leaf Sculpture Foundation project in accordance with the bid plans and specifications, together with a 10% contingency for a maximum appropriation of $173,800 in township funds currently secured in purchase orders using 1994 TIF funds and in the 2025 budget. Further, this board hereby authorizes and directs the township administrator to give timely notice of award to the contractor and, after consultation with the law director, to enter into contract with Perkins Carmack Construction LLC in accordance with their bid for the Leaf Sculpture Foundation project.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
Thank you. This is exciting for us. It's exciting for the township. It's part of our art master plan, and I want to thank Sarah Donovan for her work on that plan. Mrs. Stone was also involved in selecting this piece of artwork. Mr. Magna has handled the foundation and the footing. So it's been a joint effort, but we're really excited to start seeing art come to life in the township on public properties. We encourage private property owners especially those with businesses on Beachmont Avenue, to encourage them to consider incorporating artwork into their properties as well for the public's enjoyment. So thank you for that. Ms. Parker has the next item.
As the board is aware, as I wrote in my memo, Anderson Township's membership in the Center for Local Government Benefits Pool is due to expire at the end of July. As a reminder, this is the self-insuring pool that we joined a number of years ago for the purpose of purchasing group medical insurance for township employees. This is a large consortium with hundreds of participants. By it being a self-insuring pool, there is no profit margin to factor in. We have much more control over our claims costs, which is what directly drives our premiums. So for this year, our renewal rate came back at 5.5%. Although I want to elaborate about that on just a minute. One of the advantages of participating in this pool, as I said, is we have much greater control over our costs. The original estimate from our broker was that our premiums should go up by 8.5% based on our claims activity. However, we, as a group, this self-insuring pool, we had built up enough of a reserve that we were able to reduce that rate to 5.5% by using down some of our reserve, still leaving plenty of cushion for any large anomaly claims. So we're still well within the guidance for such things with self-insuring pool. But that's one advantage, that we are able to use those reserve funds to reduce our annual increase. So with that said, I would highly recommend that we continue to participate in this pool and would ask for the board's authorization to go ahead and renew our membership.
I move to authorize the Assistant Township Administrator for Human Resources to renew the 2025-26 employee medical insurance coverage to the Center for Local Government Benefits Pool as presented.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
Mr. Severs is up for the next two items.
I do. Good evening. So I have two items, next two items for your consideration. The first, following up on Mr. Burno's comment earlier about organizations that we're part of, one of which is the Ohio River Way organization, of which the township, stemming from our significant investment along the river, has been part of since the inauguration of this group a number of years ago. We have before you a proposal for our annual membership renewal in that, and staff would suggest the board consider that, allowing Anderson Township to continue to participate in that organization.
I move to authorize renewal of Anderson Township's membership in the Ohio Riverway, Inc. for 2025, the annual rate of $2,750.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
Thank you. The second item I have before you is a proposal from MSA Design. MSA is the consultant who's working with us on the design and layout of the Operations Center campus, namely the first phase of that project, which is the Public Works building. As we've gone through that process, we first started off with a proposal from MSA almost a year ago now. We weren't quite sure what the nature of that building or what that shape would take. At one point, we were looking kind of at a prefab steel structure. For a whole host of reasons, including the laydown space, trying to kind of be a proponent of the types of design that we want to see on Beachmont Avenue and the aesthetics and the appearance and just the way that building, I really think, has morphed into something that we're all going to be proud of. We have a proposal for you that would allow us to kind of proceed with the final engineering of that and additional engineering work, mainly related to structural analysis and structural aspects of that. So that amount is $58,400. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to try to address those. But again, if board's consideration and authorization of this would enable us to keep the ball moving, and we're working towards a winter bid on the project, allows construction to begin as soon as the weather permits in the spring. So.
I move to authorize the Township Administrator to enter into a contract with MSA Design following review of the Law Director for additional engineering of the first phase of the Operations Center Master Plan, as outlined in the proposal dated May 1st, 2025, utilizing 94 TIF funds in the 2025 budget in an amount not to exceed $58,400.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item we have for the board, I had previously asked the board to set 2 public hearings as required by statute for what is known as the Protect and Serve charge. I had miscalculated the dates because the statute specifies that the hearings have to be held within 10 days of each other. So I am asking that the board revise the dates, keep the original date of July 17th, and then set another hearing for July 24th. For the public's information, and we will have the, assuming the board acts on this tonight, we'll have the resolution online tomorrow. Kind of explains what the Protect and Serve charge is. This is yet another way that the board is attempting to reduce the tax burden, the property tax burden on residents by placing an admission fee on facilities that have seating for more than 2,000 people, that are facilities that are currently tax exempt, thereby entities that we do not receive any tax dollars on at all, but we have to provide fire and EMS and policing services to those entities at a cost to the taxpayers. The Protect and Serve charge is legislation that we sought to try to get this change in the law, and it will allow a fee of up to $1 per ticket. And again, this is not on public entities, it's not on county fairs, it's not on school football games, park district events. It is very specific to nonprofit organizations that do not pay property taxes, that have seating for 2,000 or more. And that ticket fee would be passed on to the consumer. So for example, if you're paying $150 to watch a concert, you have to pay $151, and that dollar comes to the township. So I would ask the board to revise the dates as outlined in the motion before you.
I move to revise the public hearing dates for Protect and Serve charge in Anderson Township in accordance with Section 503.54 of the Ohio Revised Code. Said hearings to be held on Thursday, July 17th, 2025, beginning at 5:30 p.m., and Thursday, July 24th, 2025, beginning at 11 a.m. Both public hearings will be held at the Anderson Center, 7850 5 Mile Road, Anderson Township, Ohio, 45230.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawston?
Yes.
Thank you. Earlier this evening, Mr. Johnson mentioned some new software that is being put into place by both the Director of Finance and Fiscal Office Manager, Tammy Disk and Katie Arnold. And I am so pleased with this new software because prior to Mrs. Disk being hired by the township and the board creating the finance department, we have used the same antiquated software for at least 33 years.
It looks like it.
And it looks like it. It's just short of looking like it was printed on a dot matrix printer. But the
No,
new
that's
software,
exactly what it looks like.
Appears to be.
it's what it appears to be. Mrs. Disk did some research. She came up with this recommendation. The software will not only improve reports and access for managers and department heads to manage their own budgets, it will produce reports that are easily understandable for the public, and just be a huge improvement and a time savings. And I know that both Tammy and Katie are working diligently. This is not an easy project. It is time consuming. They are working through this, and as Mr. Johnson said, we will hopefully have the new software up and running sometime in September. We'll run both software packages through the end of the year so that other staff members who routinely put in requests for purchase orders or need to access the information will have a time to, it's actually called a sandbox, to kind of play around for a while to get used to the new software before we go live on January 1. Part of this would also make it easier, hopefully, for the Board of Trustees when it comes to purchase orders. Right now, the Board of Trustees have to sign purchase orders, physically sign them. This will allow you to delegate that authority to me in situations where the Board of Trustees has approved an appropriation or where the Board of Trustees has authorized a contract separately. In those situations, I can electronically sign these purchase orders, which will expedite the process and remove that additional step that we need to take. So I would ask for the board to authorize the resolution before you.
I move to adopt a resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to exercise certain powers pursuant to Section 505.032 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I just say one thing about this?
Yes.
I appreciate this so much, and working in healthcare, going from paper flow sheets to a DOS system to a very swanky charting system, it is stressful. Putting your patients in the sandbox, playing around with it, the go live date, it's a lot of work. You guys have done an excellent job. We're very appreciative, and we know that it has been a bit of work, and we're very appreciative of that in addition to your workflow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
No, I appreciate that because this is, you know, a lot of this is behind the scenes work. And we're actually, Tammy and Katie are going to lead an employee information session in the next week or two to start rolling this out to staff, to start explaining. And they've been great about addressing concerns up front and making sure that staff are comfortable when we roll this out instead of just saying, here it is, get used to it. So I appreciate that very much. The last item we have this evening for the board is a request to amend our agreement with Anderson Investors, who are the owners of the Anderson Town Center. We have currently we have a parking facilities license agreement whereby we are using the back of their property as a temporary park and ride while the Anderson Center station relocation is occurring. The current agreement expires at the end of June. We are asking that the board authorize expanding that through the end of 2025 in anticipation of the completion of the Anderson Center Station and then the move of the Metro buses down to the new location.
I move to adopt a resolution approving Second Amendment to Parking Facilities License Agreement with Anderson Investors Ohio, LLC, and authorizing its execution and delivery.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all we have this evening.
Thank you. So that will conclude our meeting. Our next regular monthly board meeting is July 17th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. for the public portion. And I will now move to adjourn.
Second.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes. Thank you.
Why
See you at
aren't
the parade.
answering for you?